If you're seeing this part, that means that we have some good news.
Welcome back to another video. Last time you saw us, we set the footer and the rebar, so now it's time to start stacking some blocks. So one thing that we did learn while we were doing the block wall on the front of the property is that when you're doing the space layer, it is best to use a lot of mortar just so that it helps level everything out, because you can level everything out as much as you want going up, but if the base layer isn't correctly level, then it's going to throw the entire wall off. So best to use a lot of mortar, and it's nice because the blocks somewhat self-level themselves out where you have to do only minor adjustments. So when it came time to level out the half block, I was trying to figure out why it wouldn't level and why I was having so many issues with getting it level. And then we ended up figuring out that the block was upside down, so we decided to scrape all the mortar off and just flip it and restart over on that one block. We haven't worked with the small blocks too much, so we didn't know that the bottom has a really rough texture. It's easier to tell with the bigger blocks because that little cross cell that's on there, it's thicker at the top than it is at the bottom. quick question for everyone who's watching. Now that you've watched us build our block fence on the front, and now you're watching us build our back perimeter corners out of block, would you ever consider building your homestead fence or even your fence if you live in a house out of blocks?
Okay, so it is very windy out here, so I hope that you can hear me, but we have 7 levels so far set. We are getting ready to set our last level. Elijah is mixing up some mortar so that we can get the last level set, and then we're going to have to come back and backfill it with concrete. We didn't want to fill it in today because we want the mortar to fully dry before we start putting the weight of the concrete on there so it's not pushing it out. So once we set the last one over here, we're going to head over to the other side of the property behind me, and then we're going to see how many of those that we can get set before the sun goes down. We are working against some time. Luckily, it's daylight savings, so we get an extra hour of daylight, so we aren't expecting sunset until about 6 o'clock. So we'll see what we can get done.
Okay, so here I was explaining that we only had one more half block that we needed to set to finish off this pillar, at least for the planned blocks that we're going to be using. But once we set that one, we were going to go ahead and measure the pillar to make sure that we were at the 5'9" mark, or at least in that general area. And if we were, we would end up coming back with our sawzall so that we could cut off the rebar because it's still sticking up above the pillar.
Okay, so we just got done adding that last top block onto the top, and it looks a lot better, honestly. It gives us a little bit more privacy, and then also it just looks better. So I'm going to go ahead and show you really quick what it looks like before we head over to the other side.
So we'll have to come back with a half block for this portion of the pillars, but this is what the wall looks like up close with all the grout and everything. And then the blocks do make a nice little L shape as well. So we were thinking about lighting options for these two back pillars on the back of our land, and so we were looking at getting spotlights that are solar powered that can illuminate the space back here, because with the easement it is going to create an alley type way, so it'll be nice to have it nice and illuminated back there.
Okay, so we made it to the other side of the property, and so you can see the rebar kind of right here in the corner. So we have about an hour left of daylight to lay 9, I guess it's technically 18 blocks. 9 regular size ones, and then 9 of actually 8 of the half ones, because we're going to have to come back and get another half one as well. The closer that the sun is to setting, the colder it gets out here, so we are trying to get this done as fast as possible, but also get it done correctly as well. So we'll see how many we can get set before we have to leave today, and hopefully we get them all done, because then next time we can come out to work on another project. So either the shed base, or we might start dropping post, so we'll see. hope you guys aren't too tired of seeing us playing with blocks, because we still have a 224-foot section on the front of the property that we still need to set. So yeah. We only have one more full layer to do, and then we're gonna put that extra block on top like we did on the other one. And so next time that we come out, we're gonna have to come out with 2 8-inch blocks, which is half of these ones, so that we can finish off this wall. With the 2 corner ones being done, we went ahead and pretty much skipped to doing these ones rather than finishing the front side of the fence. 1, because they were quicker to do, but 2, we can start fencing in the back portion and the sides of our property. And then it will give us a little bit more time to take care of the front without having to rush this process going on back here. So with these being done, next time we come out, we'll just have to backfill them all with concrete and then get the top caps. Since we did use half blocks, we will end up having to cut our top caps in half. So we set the last block that we were planning on setting. Now we just have 1 more because we did get 2 extra ones for free. So far it looks really cool and it looks good, and we have corners. We have physical corners that are not little sticks. Once we get the last block on, I am going to show you the distance of our 15-foot easement, just so you can see like the spacing of, it's not how much space we're losing, but you know, just space that we have to leave open for utilities area. But we are going to end up putting a gate on the back, so that since we do have that 15-foot easement, our 15-foot plus our neighbor's 15-foot gives us 30 feet between both of our fences. So it makes pretty much a good driveway to drive through. So we'll put a gate on the back of the fence so that we can drive in through this area when it comes to, you know, dropping off stuff for the garden, or if we need to access the animals or anything like that. So we'll be able to access them from all sides of the property. So that would be great. Okay, so while Elijah is finishing up the mortar over there, because I can barely see at the top of that one, okay, so if you're seeing this part, that means that we have some good news. If you're not seeing this part, which you wouldn't know if you were or not, that means that we didn't get what we wanted. But we have limited service out here, so as we head back into town, we are going to get cell phone service, and based on our cell phone service, we are going to see if we got some good news or not. So if you're seeing this, that means that we got service and we got good news. If you're not, then better luck next time for us. but yeah, yeah. Hey, you put in the last block on without me. Okay, we are done. Both the back corners of our property are set and built out. So that is what I call progress. So I'm going to give you a close-up of this last pillar. Actually, I'm going to back you up. So then I'm going to stand. Okay, I have to hurry up before my battery dies, but I'm going to back you up so then I can stand next to the pillar so you can see kind of like a height reference of it. In perspective, I am 5'6", possibly 5'5", possibly 5'4", depending on if you're asking me or if you're asking Elijah. So you get the gist. So this is me in relation to the pillar. So it was a good couple inches on me. So yeah, we are done for today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We appreciate for you guys watching us build our pillars, and we will see you in the next video. Bye. Also had a note in it. This one had a little bit more than the last one. So this gift is from Marilyn that we got a gift from a couple days ago. It looks like they just came separate, but this one has a nice little note in there, wishing you all the best wishes and support. So Marilyn, once again, we appreciate you. We ended up getting a little tool belt. I'm gonna show you guys a close view of what we got. Okay, so this is one of the utility belts that we had put on our list. It's a suede pouch. And so mainly this is for Elijah to end up using. This little loop here, you just loop it through your belt when you wear a belt. And then it has a bunch of little pockets in there so that, you know, we don't lose any more bits in the dirt. We can just put everything in there as well. So it's great storage. And then it also has these little metal rings at the bottom where we can end up putting some heavier stuff. So like the hammers and mallets and stuff, and hold them out there. But I am pretty sure Elijah is excited to use this because this is cool. So Marilyn, once again, we thank you for the 2 gifts that you sent to us. We do still have our wish list up. We will go ahead and link it in the video if anyone else would like to donate towards our journey, and we appreciate you guys for watching. Once we got internet, we were able to find out that we did indeed get some good news. Sorry, the quality isn't good. My camera died, and so we're using my phone. Basically, we bought the tax lien on 20 acres of land in the tax lien sale that they have every year. And honestly, we were hoping that we were gonna get it. We weren't sure if we were or not, because a lot of big bidders come in and they buy up, you know, all the tax lien sales on them to make money off of them. But basically the way that a tax lien works, just in case you're not familiar with what a tax lien is, basically you have someone, it can be on raw land, it can be on a business, it could be on an apartment complex, it could be on a land with someone's house on it. Basically any piece of land, doesn't matter what's on it. When a person who owns the land doesn't pay their taxes, the county sells off their tax debt, basically. So, you know, I think each county is different for how long they have to be behind, but generally if they're 1 year or more behind on their taxes, they will auction off your land. This is why it's important that we tell you should pay your taxes. Now what will happen, the state of Arizona gives people who are delinquent on their taxes after the tax lien has been purchased 3 years to pay back their back taxes along with whatever the interest rate was that you won it at. And if they don't, then you can foreclose on the property and then it becomes yours. Hey, he just got back in the car. I was telling them about our 20 acres that we now own the tax lien on.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So we ended up getting the 20-acre parcel, just to sum that up, only because in a situation where you buy a tax lien, it's a win-win situation for you. Either way, it's a win-win. You either make a little bit extra money on it, or you get to keep the land in general. Yeah, so we are now 2 proud owners of a 20-acre tax lien. So yeah. It's